George, firstly, the reflections on last week, it was an emphatic win. How do you kind of dissect that, I guess, and look to better it?
Well, I think, you have to, you have to sort of take it for what it is, pick it apart. Obviously there was a bit of context around it with the balance of the team, but yeah, I mean, look, overall was pretty pleased with it. I think the young guys who started were really on point with their roles, and the young guys who came off the bench were great when they came off the bench. So I think that those were positives. I think the boys staying on task for the whole game, that was a real positive. But there's always bits and pieces to be found within that. Probably the biggest positive actually was the boys came in on Monday and were picking it apart and saying, we think we could have been better here, there, and I think that's a real sign of positive growth, that the boys didn't come in overly positive thinking it was a great job done. It was actually, we thought we could have done a little bit better. So it's a real positive.
And how impressed were you with the way the players did stick to the task? Because when a score goes up like that, it must be easy to run through the minds of, we're going to throw this around and try and have more fun, perhaps. Yeah,
I think often when someone does get sort of a 30-odd point lead early on, then the game drifts off a little bit, gets away from you. Everyone wants to get on the scoreboard. Lads start trying stuff, and that was probably, again, apart from the young lads doing so well, that was one of the most pleasing bits. Was boys stuck to the plan, even right at the end when it was 71 points on the scoreboard or whatever. They'd planned the next play. They're all united, and I think that's actually a lot harder than you can appreciate when you're on the pitch, because it is a temptation that you want to score, you want to do something, but staying on task and all the stuff that we're working really hard on, being a collective unit, there was a lot of that on the weekend.
And the maul particularly was a weapon against Bath, and that's going to be equally as important again against Exeter on Saturday, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, we got 6 tries off the maul on the weekend, which is obviously a lot. But again, we've been going well with that all year. We've been scoring every game, and the boys work really hard at it. And I don't think we'll get that many tries too often in a game of rugby. But it was really pleasing again, because when there was a couple of senior lads who came off and the young boys came in, they slipped straight into the system, knew their roles, executed it really well. And a good example, Clem got 2 tries off the back of it. So like I say, lots of good bits, but the fact that we're starting to get people in positions who can step in, young, senior, whatever it is, and replace each other is a real positive.
And you can really see how much work's going into that maul, and you see the excitement of every time we score a maul try, it's celebrated. We've run the length of the field, so you can see that in the players as well. Yeah,
and I think that is the lads are really starting to enjoy it. I think the noise that goes around King's Zone when a maul try gets scored is pretty special, and the boys talk about that, and they are thriving off it. So I think it's something we wanted to get excited about and something we wanted to deliver on, and yeah, again, that area of the game is going really well for us.
And Exeter will be looking to bounce back this weekend. They lost their first round of the Premiership Rugby Cup. What are you expecting from them?
It's really hard in this cup to know what sort of team you're going to come up against. They may come fully loaded. They may have a mixture of senior and young. It's very tricky this year because there's bye weeks and all that sort of stuff. So every team's got a slightly different challenge as to how they manage their squad through this period. But as you say, they lost last week, so I expect them to be on it. And they came here and beat us last time as well. So they'll be pretty confident, I'm sure, of coming here. And the thing with Exeter is it doesn't really matter what team they put out. We've said this numerous times when you talk about Exeter. They've got 2 or 3 players in every position who can do the roles. Sometimes they can do the roles in 2 different positions, and they all just seem to fulfil the system, crack on, and most times they win. So it doesn't really matter who they pick. We know how hard it's going to be. We know the systems that they run, and it's how you stop it is the challenge. So the boys are excited. They've trained really hard the last 2 days, and what team Exeter send will won't be the concern. The concern will be how focused we are on what we can do.